afternoon, good morning, good evening, folks, depending on where you're at. This is Mel George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, can't believe it. Time is flying by. This is next to the last week of April. Wow. I mean, time flies by so quick. Seems like we just started 2026. We had a few shows to start off the season. This weekend we had the return of the Puerto Rico Pro. Back in 2022, I had the pleasure of meeting a lady who won this show in women's bodybuilding, Rashana Boswell. She came down here to North Carolina. She was attending a seminar in Fayetteville. That's where my man Glenn from the Amazon Fitness magazine. It was a great opportunity to meet her up close. I interviewed her years ago. And also the weekend, we picked up some winners. Jenny Kessel won for women's figure, which was the open class. As you know, the show is mostly masters from 40 all the way down to 60. In figure division, we have one lady. I think her name is Harseer Ortiz. She won for the 40 plus, which qualified for next year's Masters O. And this lady's been to the Master O. And also Suzanne, Ed Gruber won for 40 plus for women's bodybuilding. She's doing both bodybuilding and physique. And also shout out to the lady who's been a guest on my channel, the lovely Mrs. Robin Mays, who won 55 and 50. And this woman can't believe she's almost going to be 60 this year. So as you said again, this lady has been an Olympian, Masters Olympian. She has been a great game for quite some time. She's a power lifter. She's a bodybuilder. She works as an accountant. She works with numbers. So you got to think about it. If it's tax time is over, we just got finished with the tax season. I can't imagine going in there, hey, you think you can do my taxes without kicking my ass? But, we have the lovely Mrs. Suzanne Davis. And we welcome her to time. Also, she recently did an interview with my brother David from the Female Body Forum. You want to go check out his interview with her, check it out, watch it. And, because like me and David have different styles. My brother, I love him. So, ma'am, thank you and welcome for your time.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I appreciate the invite. Thank you.
Well, you ladies are always welcome, my channel. This is where I want to give y'all opportunity of recognition, respect, and to honor because I am a fan. But also, I'm another thing. I'm a muscle person. I just love y'all buff ladies. So, ma'am, this is a question I ask you, ladies. What got you started in sports? I call it muscle and masculinity. Please share.
Okay, so this is an unexpected journey, to be honest with you. I guess my journey started 14 years ago. As you mentioned, I'm an accountant. It gets pretty busy and pretty hectic. So during my career, I kind of blew up. I tried a whole bunch of different things. I became a vegetarian, a vegan, and I probably didn't research enough, but it caused me to gain about 70 pounds in addition to all the stress and whatnot. So when I moved, one day I decided, I lived in Washington, D.C. because, I had my master's degree on the East Coast. So I worked and lived in Washington, D.C. So one morning I was like, I'm tired of the snow. I got up and I moved to Phoenix, Arizona, which I totally love. And one day I said, I need to change. So my coworker suggested, she actually signed me up to go to Die Hard Gym, which is where I've been going for the last 14 years, just to tone up. And so that's where my journey began. I started lifting weights for the first time, and it's been an on and off. It took about 2 years for me to lose the weight. My trainer said, let's put you on stage. Let's put you on a platform. And so that's how I began doing powerlifting and bodybuilding. It was a lifestyle change. I needed to lose weight. That's how it really started. I had no idea about the bodybuilding world other than Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I had no idea about the powerlifting world until I went to this gym. So it kind of fell into my lap. This was not planned. It just started as a lifestyle change. I wanted to improve myself, improve my health. And so I lost a lot of weight, started lifting weights, and here I am today, 14 years later.
Whereas my other half says, you know what, I never have a plan, Suzanne. I'm just a dog chasing cars, I just never know when to get one. And that's the thing is, a lot of ladies have the different stories how they got into bodybuilding from, dealing with some kind of issues, physical, mental issues, being overweight. That's one of the biggest ones. Some ladies come from being in sports for a long time and finding a sport that really gives them a passion or discipline about it. Powerlifting, that's really tough. I think there's quite a few ladies who have transitioned from that sport to women's bodybuilding because, they just because sometimes one thing I remember, I interviewed Rita West, and she was a powerlifter for a long time. And then because of the lifting can really get to your joints and stuff and gets really sore. And that's why she got into bodybuilding, because she liked some of the aspects that bodybuilding had.
Okay. Well, I think powerlifting gives you a great base, a great muscular base. I happen to do both interchangeably. So, for example, I'm doing a powerlifting meet next month, and then I'm going to transition over to bodybuilding. For me and my trainer, it's just a matter of dialing in the diet. So that's how I'm able to do both simultaneously. And again, I give props and shout outs to my trainer, who pushes us hard, but he doesn't push us to the extent that we're like injuring our joints and our muscles and whatever. That's how I've been able to compete at this level for going on more than 12 years. It's just a matter of his training protocol. We don't do massive gains. It's just a slow, snail pace progress. And so I think that's one of the things why I'm able to do both so long and stay healthy. So I've been healthy. I've had maybe one thing that happened, but other than that, no injuries, no nothing. So
nothing serious, just old typical aches and pains you get from after a long time, long period of lifting weights, and and I can understand that, and also I can understand how life can get to you. Like when I got to high school, I used to play football when I was in high school. I used to lift weights. I was one of the strongest guys on my team. I remember, it's a true story. If anybody talk about that story, hey, forget you. It's true. I remember we were doing some weights. I was like, by the time I was 16, I was already bench pressing 350. And one of the guys on the team asked me, George, man, you cock strong. He said, what do you mean my cock strong? I heard the term before because I'm a country boy. I heard that term before. So, he said, ask me, son, you ever got any? He said, no, what do you mean? No. He said, well, you cock strong. So, I was, strong and healthy. But then when I got out of high school, and then I was already working a job by the time I was 16, and I quit playing football. And then you get a job, and you don't have time to work out and train, and it can get like that. And you're up in DC, yes, no, it snows here in North Carolina too. But I know I wouldn't want to be in Arizona. I mean, y'all, it's hell.
Oh yeah, the first year I came out here, the first summer where it was like 100 degrees, I'm like, I stepped out and it's like, whoosh, it's like the heat just like slammed on me. I'm like, oh man, what did I get myself into? But I'm used to it now. Up to 110, that's my limit. When it gets over 110, I'm like, oh, why did I do this? But I love it. 9 months of the year, we have almost perfect weather. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know about me. If I go out there, I'll think about maybe sometime go checking the couple of shows like the Triple O's out there, the Rising Phoenix. And the Rising Phoenix is gonna be around really about till end of the summer. I don't know. I'll be like a ghetto snowman. He melted. He was a ghetto snowman, But it's about adapting. That's how it is.
Yeah.
So your first experience, what was that like for you as a competitor?
Oh, okay. So it took a little bit of coaching from my trainer because they're like, "We're gonna get you on the stage. We're gonna get you on the stage." I'm like, "No, I'm an accountant." Mostly because I can just stay behind a computer, stay behind the desk or whatever. So I'm kind of like sheltered from, the exterior, and I'm an introvert by nature. So one of the reasons why I like to do this, it pushes me out of my comfort zone, and it takes me into a bubble that I'm not comfortable with. I'm never comfortable with. I'm not even comfortable talking to you, to be honest. I just like my little comfort zone. So the first time you actually put a picture of my first show, I'm like, I'm so scared. I can just see how nervous I was on the first time I actually was put on stage. But my trainer was like, it took him about a month to say, we need to get you on stage. And I'm like, And so 2 weeks before the show, I'm like, okay, let me just listen to my trainer. What do I have to lose? And so 2 weeks I was, the posing coach we were like morning and night. We're just practicing posing because I had 2 weeks to get on stage, and Bilbo Sportswear designed a suit for me in 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, I went on stage for the first time. Nervous as all get up. I was a bunch of nervous. I was shaking when I got off stage. I mean, this is nothing I've ever done. So I'm glad I did it. I'm glad my trainer kicked me onto the stage, and here we are today. I was nervous.
Yeah, you can't think about it because you're out there. Because I know quite a few ladies always say the word, I'm an introvert. You're not that much of an introvert. You can go out there knee butt naked, in front of a bunch of people. You're not that much. But I know somebody say like because you have the light shining on you, you don't see the crowd like that. You can't hear them. But I remember one lady told me one time she had to get a little, because it was the first time. But everybody's like performing. You get a case of stage fright, but once you get over it, once you get used to it, you get comfortable with the idea of being uncomfortable. Put
Yeah.
yourself out there. You can't be afraid. We have here a guest. This is my man. I call him my brother, my other little brother. This is my man, KL, the one that says, Mick Cox Strong, what's up? Yeah, that's what I was. Well, yeah, son, this is a true story. I'll tell you a story. This was like right after I quit playing football, and this was in high school. There was this fight. This bunch of girls started fighting. They was like, yeah. It was one girl. She was taller. And, I took her, and remember that wrestler Billy Jack Hayes? I slapped her on a full Nelson, and I just drug her into one of the classrooms. The principal and the assistant principal had a hand. They looked at me dead in the eye and said, "George, you think you can hold her?" Yeah, I got her. So that's what I mean, cock strong boy. You don't know that. He's from New York City, so he don't know about that. So after that, that experience, and you still with that same coach and trainer, or you?
Yeah, he's been my trainer and coach for he's been my only trainer and coach from the get-go. So I mean, he knows me in and out. So yeah, he knows how my body works better than I did.
If anybody have heard of what's his name?
He's Tim Sparks. He's the owner of Die Hard Gym here in Peoria, Arizona, which is right outside of Phoenix, Arizona. So yeah, been there ever since. And it's one of those. If you've seen the Arnold Schwarzenegger film, Pumping Iron, yeah, it's one of those die-hard, pig iron, grungy, just do it kind of gyms. It's not a fluffy gym. It's not we do a whole bunch of cable rows and whatnot. It's the dumbbells.
It's not a Planet Fitness gym. I used to be a Planet Fitness member.
We're not going to hit no lunk alarm, but no, it's
yeah.
You got to have thick skin to step in our gym. It's one of those kind of gyms, right?
Yeah, I think everybody, that's good to have a good relationship that long with a coach. I've known some ladies who been with a coach for a few years, a few months, and it's good that he understands what you're looking for as an athlete. It's good because I saw a thing that was posted. It was from the producer. He coaches Sid Gillen and my girlfriend, and he talks about how some coaches now are just pushing more drugs and actually fundamentals of bodybuilding.
Yeah. There's no shortcuts. Like I said, it was a slow process. And I was like, Coach, I want to go like this. He's like, nope, it's like this. You'll make slow gains, and that's how you stay in the game longer. But yeah, it's so I'm grateful for that. He's not one of those, he doesn't want it for the fame and the fortune or whatever, because easily he could have all of his competitors, go in a straight line and just push to the limit really quickly. But that's how you get injured. That's how you get out of the game really quickly. So he just has a different old school mentality and protocol. So, yeah.
Oh, so slow, steady wins the race because you don't want to burn yourself out. That's one thing, especially with younger competitors. Like I was talking with somebody how, everybody thinks that steroids is, it's very prevalent in sport. It's a thing that makes bodybuilding. But this is what someone else told me. It's going to be like 60-40. It's going to be 40 in the gym and 60 is going to be in the kitchen. And any kind of performance enhancers only is part of the progress and also the process. You have to be disciplined, consistent, and also persistent and consistent to do this sport because you can't be just wishy-washy. We got here a comment from my man, shout out to my man KL. It says, Suzanne, have you seen Pumping Iron 2, The Women?
Yes, of course.
That's a classic. That was something when I got to when I got to bodybuilding, like also we mentioned that Pumping Iron. That was the one because you remember Arnold and Lou Ferrigno. They were the two guys that really got attention. Guys like Frank Columbo and all Albert Beckles, those guys. And then when I got to I remember my brother used to get the muscle mags. And when I got to my pubescent years, the women they were coming up like people like Corey Everson, Angela Langer, and Rachel McLeish and Bev Francis. Over time, they just something about them kind of piqued my interest. There was something different. Yeah. But that's the thing is that people didn't understand that it's more to this than taking pills. It's about being steady, being persistent. Like for you, what's training like during the week?
Okay, I just want to emphasize there's no magic pill to this game. Yeah, it's beyond genetics. It's beyond taking a pill. It's beyond. For me, in my theory, in my protocol, it's 100% everything. You have to be all in. You have to be 100% into your training. You have to be 100% on your diet. You have to be 100% consistent, and whatnot. And I totally lost track of your question. Can you repeat it again, please?
Like for you, what was like for you? You're like, what's your training like during the week? What's what's the day in for yourself?
Yeah. Okay. So we train hard 4 days a week. So it's weight training 4 days. We train specific body parts really hard for an hour once a week. So for example, on Mondays is back and shoulders. We train hard. Tuesdays is bench press and then chest and arms. Like Thursdays is squats and leg day. Saturday is deadlifting and then a full body accessory work for a few hours. So it's the way my trainer does. It's just a lot of heavy, and working on technique. So we're not all the time in the gym. So it's not like people think we're there for like 2, 3, 4 hours every single day. For me, fortunately, it's not like that. I try to stick with my diet so I can try to stay lean, which shows your muscle mass a little bit better. And so that's our protocol. It's 4 days of really hard, heavy training each week, working on specifically on a particular body part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's about the process of what things you want to work on, the improvements you want to make. The gym is like the building blocks for almost everybody, and you don't have to be there for 2 or 3 hours. When I used to work out, it was like at least an hour because I'm not a bodybuilder. I was just trying to lose a bit of weight because I can tell you, understand the stress. Like when I took my mom for a long time, it can be stressful to take care of a family member who's sick and going through something, and food is seen as a comfort. And after a while, I was doing some stuff at home, and then I went to the gym. But then some setbacks. Got 2 bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I gotta be careful. We got here. Shout out to my man, KL, the one who says, "You be surprised. Some women I talked to seen pumping iron 1, but not 2. But good answer. Yeah, because it's not as prevalent as pumping iron. It's more worldwide. It's about." Also, he says this. He says, "I like your traps. When did you first notice that you developing the muscles?"
Thanks. We do a lot of shrugs at my gym, if you can tell. It's hard to fit normal people clothes, by the way. So, and I work in a corporate, office environment. So buying clothes is a whole different story. When did I notice my muscles is when I started losing weight and kind of the fluff went down. So then that's when you notice the muscularity. So yeah. And as far as knowing about pumping iron 1 and 2, I just want to say, I believe in our sport, you kind of have to know the history of your sport, right? So pumping iron 1 and 2, and then Too Big for the World was a good one too. So, it's just getting a different perspective as to how other people enter this sport as well. So it's a learning process. You can try to get bits and pieces from different competitors and take them and then build it upon yourself, how you want to go out.
Yeah, my man Kid might hate this for saying this, but I always say this because this is from one of my favorite movies, Batman Begins. And it's a scene where Liam Neeson as Harry the Cop, aka Ra's al Ghul, training Christian Bale, Bruce Wayne, aka Batman. And he says to him, "Beware surroundings at all time, young Master Wayne. Never give a sure footing for a killing blow." And that's what me doing this content. I reach out to you ladies and talking with you and learn from your experiences. I have to be aware, like not just focus about. I like big women with muscles. Like, yeah, you gotta sight me. I like to there's like the mindset of quite a few men, especially when they come see women like yourself. Like I just interviewed with a young lady who just made her pro debut at Triple O. That's Liza Abadaka. And she was doing an interview where she's wearing a tank top. She's wearing her figure bottom scrubs. She's wearing a tank top, and the guys don't care. They just like to see the big muscles. That's But that's the thing is that I think it's hard for shopping when you work in the corporate world because you stand out from everybody. You might have guys with beer bellies. You might have guys too skinny. You might have women who look like a pear. Just being in a world which you're kind of not the physical norm when you see, especially when it goes to accounting. Like, What got you something like that? I mean, crunching numbers and doing. I mean, I couldn't do it. I mean, I like to count, but not that much.
Hey, numbers is a number, is a language, and every job needs an accountant. So I just want to make sure that I would be secure going forward in my career, in my life, in my career. Everybody needs an accountant. Even if I was solo dolo, worked on myself, I still need accounting. Everybody needs an accountant.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I started.
My older sister, she's a CPA. She used to do our taxes when we were younger. She used to always, really pretty good at it. Back in the day, we just had to take it, just mail it, and ship it in the mail. Now I got to do, I used to remember this. I mean, one time I was working my job. My mom came and said, "Hey, your check came." Okay. So I went, it was on my lunch break, give some money, went back to work because, hey, yeah. But, that's tough. Were you busy this season for you, or is it, because,
Okay. So I don't do taxes. I do more of the financials. I do financial statements and budgets and procurement. I'm on that end of the accounting side. As far as I probably should get into the tax world because I get so many requests to do that. So I might probably look into that going forward because with this economy, you need as many multiple streams of income as you can. So yeah, that's been on my back burner for quite some time because I get so many requests. I also get requests to do personal training. So, I might look into those going forward in the near future.
Yeah, be a J&L trade. Hey, you got a trainer to do your taxes. Why you do say, what's the 401k? What's your 550? You say, like 550, or that's something that's very. I think it's a good idea because you can be independent. You can do what you want, but it's good to still have your job because I used to have two jobs. I used to work at a gas station for about 30 years since I was 16. I worked at textiles 13, 14 years. I worked here and there with college for a little bit. I even worked at a gentleman's club. Did that for a few years.
Bet you like that.
Here's the thing about that one. It had its good days and bad days like any other job. Especially if the girl's not making no money, they're not happy. Sometimes you have to break up fights. Things go pop off in a club. It's a hood club. It was like 2 miles from where I lived at. It was close. I mean, one time, it was one night I was hanging out. I wasn't working that night, and these girls at the bar, they were talking, and there were a couple of dances. And once I saw this going down, like Kevin Hawk said, it was about to go down. So I had to snatch one of the girls and grab her. The other guy had to grab her, but that's how it happens. Shout out to my man KL the Wanderer. He says this. He says, "What is the heaviest you lift or deadlift?"
My heaviest attempt on a platform was 507. And I compete in the 148-pound weight class. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was a all-time world title holder for the deadlift at my weight class.
So what got you into powerlifting?
My gym is a powerlifting gym. So, and my trainer is one of the best powerlifters, trainers ever. And so by default, and somehow, some way, I found out that I was pretty strong. So I think my first, my squat, I was squatting in the 200s at 115 pounds. So just by default, just kind of got into powerlifting.
So just because you were strong, you just got
because I was strong, my trainer was like, let's put you on the platform. And again, I had like 2 weeks to prep for powerlifting. So that kind of works for me because I think if I think about it too long, I'll get, I don't want to do this. Let's not do this. So,
yeah, I know powerlifting, like I said, it's been around across the time. Quite a few ladies who have been champion powerlifters. People like Beth Francis, she sticks out. I know Angela Yo, she still does it, off season. As I mentioned earlier, Rita West, one lady at ABB a while back, she just got a pro card. She did a powerlifting tournament. I mean, also a lady I got to meet at Tampa's, Suzanne Graham.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
we go head to head quite a lot in both sports.
Ooh, that's David's girlfriend. Yeah. I mean, it's just a thing about that is that again, there's a big difference. The training is different because you're training more for strength as a power lifter, where as a bodybuilder, you're training more for presentation and performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, training for powerlifting right now, we go heavy, heavy, heavy. And then when I switch over to bodybuilding, it's lighter weight, more reps. So that's how we transition.
And what show you're competing for your powerlifting?
It's the APF Nationals in Ogden, Utah next month.
Utah.
So it's just a qualifier for the Worlds in Baton Rouge later on this year.
Oh, so you're coming down here to the South to complete.
Yes. Yes, for the good food.
Yeah, I mean, the best person I knew that was the best cook in my life was my mama. I miss her cooking. She used to. My mom had to raise us, me, my brothers and sisters, and grandkids. And Southern food cooking is good. It's just different compared to any place else. But everybody's cooking is different, especially your mother's. Like your family, are they still around? Like what they thought would their little girl get into something like bodybuilding, eating muscles, like that.
I don't know. On my dad's side, they're kind of, they're old school. They're a little, why is she doing this? This is, how do I say? I'll just say it. This is not a woman's sport. That's their kind of mentality. So I didn't really get them involved too much, in my sports career. Oh, first of all, growing up, I grew up in Los Angeles. So my parents are really strict. They were more of a educational, scholarly kind of thing. So we weren't allowed to do any kind of sports. So I never did sports in high school. I never did sports in college. It wasn't until I kind of grew up and got into my own that I started compete or did any kind of sports. So on my mom's side, they're super supportive. In fact, yeah, they're super supportive, but it's a lot of pressure when your family's at a show. I think I only had my mom come to the Tampa show. I'm so glad I did it because she passed away 2 months later. So that, I'm so glad whoever told me, have your mom come to this show. And she lived in the Orlando area. So she drove up to Tampa and saw her baby girl do a little show in Tampa. So she was super proud of me. My mom's always been proud of me from day one. And when I went to her house, she had all these pictures of me competing. I'm like, I had no idea. She was like my number one fan. So yeah, my family is super supportive of both my powerlifting and my bodybuilding career. So yeah, I'm super happy.
It was great for your mother to see that before she gone, because I can tell you, when we lose our mother or our fathers, like I lost both my parents and myself, it's just you can never replace them. My mother, I wasn't close to my father because my parents were together 55 years, even though my dad was living up in New Jersey, while we're still here in North Carolina. And that to me, for a boy, that's a boy's best friend is his mother. And and she was my woman. And when she got sick, I took up and took care of her because I cared for her. When she was gone, I needed something. And I was doing this content, a good bit of it. She was still around. But then I really threw myself into it because it gives me a purpose. Here we got here to my man KL. He's always this shit. He says, "What was your point with the story about the guys liking muscles, then freaking zombies? That's all they are going to focus." Yes, because it's not a point, brother. It's a story. He kind of slow. It's sometimes we say he's special. So but I like him. Also, we got here Haley saying hi. He says, "Hi, Haley." And also says, "Female bodybuilding." He said, he corrected himself. He said, "Women." All right. And also he says, "I love your previous live stream." Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Sister, I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're funny.
I like I said, I try to be entertaining, informative, because sometimes I get women out here to be a little nervous, get shy. So I want to relax. This is how I treat my interviews. It's like a first date. I mean, hi, how you doing? My name is George. I'm a Scorpio. I want y'all to feel, yeah, I'm a Scorpio. My birthday coming up. 52 in November. So yeah, it happens. Yeah, I'm getting over the hill. Shout out to my man here, KL. He says this. He says, "The strip club is one of the greatest accomplishments in your life. That is talking with women bodybuilders." It was an accomplishment. It was a job. I remember the owner approached me and asked me if I want to work here because I helped the guy who worked one night because there was this girl who came through, her friends. Situation happened. I kind of calmed it down. A couple weeks later, I went by the club and he asked me if I want to work. I said, okay. I worked there for a while, got fired once, came back, then the place got closed down. It was a good job. It's like the movie Roadhouse. It was a good night, but no one got killed. We had a few shootings, so like that, but no one got killed. So, folks, while we got Suzanne here, we're going to do this. We're going to jump through social media for a little bit. If you want to follow her and check her out and support her as a bodybuilder, be a fan and support these ladies. It can really help that because this is a tough sport. This sport can be mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially draining on any person who gets into it. But remember, you guys, I know you guys, you see her, she's got a take up on, her shoulders out, her pecs are out. You guys, I know you're purged. I know you'll get excited. But this is why I tell you guys, no shit chick, no D pics, no nothing. Stop it. Don't do it. Control yourself, man.
Control yourself, man.
Yeah, control yourself. It's a level
like Chris.
Come on. Yeah, like Chris, I know this, man. So we're going to jump into social media for a minute. So you want to check it out. Her links in the live stream. You can support her. So here she is. I think this is one of you. You're doing some little traveling. I saw this.
I love to travel.
Yeah, where were you at?
I've been almost to 60 different countries internationally. So I think what you were showing, I was in Dubai. Dubai, and then Nepal. It was another one you showed.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've only been to maybe 3 places in my lifetime. I went to Atlanta. I went to visit my niece, and then went to Tampa that summer, and then went to Disney World at least twice in Virginia. I'm a homebody. I'm a country boy. I never been on a plane either. I don't know if I want to fly over all that water. Yeah, I'm thinking about getting myself a real ID because I want to go to my show. But then I saw that they really charge you double for your weight. So I said, I'm gonna have to do a train this time again. Here she is with some sumo wrestlers. Wow, those guys look big. Probably bigger than me.
This was a fun show. The guy who was emceeing was, I don't know how to say his name, but he was the guy on Fast and Furious. So it was kind of fun. It was interesting.
That's fun. Okay. Got some sushi. I'm sorry, man. I can't eat cold raw fish. I got mine's got to be heated. But I don't fish anymore much like I used to. But it's an experience to travel the world and and to see, because bodybuilding it has expanded over the years. It was exclusively very American, especially in the East Coast, because you grew up in LA. Now I'm interviewing ladies from Norway to the UK to lady who interviewing in Singapore, from South America, to Canada. It's really expanded. And this is your coach?
That's my coach. We're training, getting ready for this powerlifting meet next month.
Yeah, you strong. You strong. And his is previously, before, and now. This was, I think, this was the Tampa back in 2020, I believe.
It looks like it. It looks like it. Yamamoto. Yeah, that would be a Tim Gardner thing. Yeah, that was my before picture. Your girl likes to eat.
Yeah, brother like me too. I was there. I met Mr. Gardner. He's interesting. Yeah, I kind of not too happy about his situation with certain shows, but hey, that's just me. Who's the little buddy here?
Oh yeah, he's an albino Doberman Pinscher. I adopted him maybe 6 months ago. So yeah, those are my 2 puppies. They run my household.
Those are your babies.
Those are my babies.
Yeah, I know one of my sisters, she used to have poodles. Those were her babies. Quite a few ladies have dogs, cats, kids. You don't have kids, and you do some bike riding too here.
Oh yeah, that's my Sunday deload day. That's my mental. Just what do I have to get rid of? What do I have to improve going forward? So that's my Sundays.
Lady who's very athletic. Here she is doing heavy lifting. It's a lot, and here she is. You can check out this interview with my man David. You can go over to the Female Bodybuilding Forum, let's say channel, and did an interview with her, I think, a couple of weeks ago. This is from also you double dipping. You were doing both women's physique and women's bodybuilding at the World Body Championships.
Yes, I double dipped. That was a tough one. 4 shows.
Yeah,
Won't do that again.
Yeah, look for this. This was your first time doing women's bodybuilding, right? That year?
Yeah, that was my bodybuilding debut. Did pretty good, but we're gonna have to build up into the female bodybuilding world.
Yeah. What you feel like now? How when physique came along, it was like about almost 10 years ago. Maybe no more 10 years. About 15 years ago,
Yes.
and it seemed like the vision has evolved over time. Here she's in a red dress. Ow! Man, I'm a man. I can't help it. I
Yeah.
can't help it.
Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, this stereotype. Women shouldn't have muscle, blah 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 blah. But we can look sexy too. Come on now.
Yeah, I tell you, hey, I've seen some ladies who look great, shape, sexy. Like also, especially ladies who are much older, mature.
Yeah.
Here's what I say like this: Father Time. You're not gonna stop Father Time, but you can halt him a little bit. You can slow him down. Like, look at her, she's
Absolutely.
great shape. Look at the quads. Look at the arms. She's riding the bike. You know, that's the thing is. Here's the thing I tell the guys like this: If you don't like women with muscles, here's the best advice: Don't say nothing. Don't waste your time
Yeah.
because you're bringing them more attention because of your hate. Because, like, you know what? I say this by haters. You can hate so much, but I care so little.
Yeah, I don't care anymore. It is what it is. You like what you like, you don't like what you don't like. So,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep on moving.
Yeah. Keep on trucking. Here's this here. She's right there. Wow. Again. Yeah. I think something about, I'm like I said, I'm from the South, all different type of women, all different type of builds. And I think with y'all women muscle, y'all just a different level of what is considered the standard of beauty. Here she
Yeah.
is. This is your dad here and your sister.
My dad and my little sister.
Oh, your little
Yep.
sister. So that
Yeah.
means you're like you're the oldest,
I'm the
or
oldest by a year and a half.
yeah.
Yep,
I
that's my wild
yeah.
one.
I got a sister. She's about at least 15 years older than me. No.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, because there was six of us, and there was I had at least three sisters, an
Okay.
older brother, a younger brother, and then my father had I had an older brother outside of the before he married my mother, and I have a sister
Mhm.
after him and my mother broke up. But
Okay.
and also she was at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic years ago, and
Oh,
Arnold don't like your muscle women. He don't
he
like
does
her.
not. I
He
don't
don't
like
like.
Arnold anymore because of that. Not good
I,
Arnold.
I had a talk with that with Irene Heller, how they approached him
Yeah,
about why, they pushed out figure and physique from the Arnold Classic and
yeah,
women's
not cool.
bodybuilding. And I like gold. Who did that? And what was that experience like for you? Dressed in gold.
Oh man, this was. Oh yeah, it was a. This was crazy. I just want something different. I just, try some experience life. Okay, so if it's out there, most likely I'm going to try it as long as it's not, going to kill me or anything. So yeah.
Yeah. And she uses more powerlifting, and that's the thing about powerlifting again, it's very about strength because you say you have to train differently. When you do
Yeah.
powerlifting, you have to train heavier, but then when you do bodybuilding, you have to drop the weight a little lower.
Yeah, you have to drop the weight. Otherwise, you'll get injured because you're so lean. You have no body fat to absorb any of that.
Yeah. Here she
But
is.
not.
She's just from her different goals over time. This is from the Arnold back and look like it was 2016 or 2017.
That's one of the last years that they did the women's physique.
I think it was got to be
So
2020, 2020. That was
it
maybe
was something
2019 when the
2020,
pandemic. Yeah.
2021.
And this is from, I believe, Omaha. And
Yes.
also this is from Chicago Pro.
Chicago Pro. Yeah.
Yeah. As you know, this year they're not having women's bodybuilding. It's getting kicked out. They brought back fitness. Me
Okay.
as a fan, I'm kind of disappointed, but
Uh,
again, I get the reason why because of not enough shows, not enough bodies, not enough people. It's just I feel like this. I think many ladies deserve to be represented, whichever
mhm.
it is, the Olympia or the Arnold. Arnold. I know, as I said again, Arnold made his choice because of what he thought about it. Um, I've talked to ladies like yourself who just really it rubs them raw because
Yeah.
you feel like you're not. This is one of the biggest shows in
Yeah.
the first of the year, and other than I just interviewed a young lady who got her pro card at that show, and
Mhm.
you don't have because it's invitational, but in some shows we're doing both pro qualifiers and a pro show. You can just jump in the show the next
True.
day. I know
True.
they did try to use Chicago Pro because you don't have Miss International, which was women's bodybuilding.
Okay. Yeah. Um, the sport is evolving. I'm not going to say if it's a good way or a bad way, but I do like the way women's bodybuilding is evolving. It's becoming more popular. So I'm happy for that. Because in my opinion, my humble personal opinion is that the physique ladies are getting humongous. So I'm just questioning, why aren't you switching over to, you have a great, phenomenal physique, but you're just large, almost bodybuild. I mean, it's starting to blend. Well, I guess figure is starting to blend to physique. Physique is also starting to blend over into bodybuilding. So we'll see. And even the bikini girls are starting to look like figure. So
yeah,
it's evolving.
That's why they got the new bastard division. Excuse me, every time I mention about it, it's fit model. I have interviewed a couple of fit model competitors. I have nothing against you as competitors. I feel like this. What's the point of that division? I understand it's about trying to get more people into, get more attention, but then here the sport has evolved. You go back to the pump and iron area. If you look at, I even watched a thing with Bev Fresh, how if she competed today, she'd be considered small compared to physique competitors. Even figure competitors might be bigger than her. You're going to have divisions that are going to end up evolving. When wellness came in, it was very popular. I'm seeing wellness girls like one girl, I think her name is, if you know her name, Tiff Sam. There's a picture with her hanging out with a lady I interviewed a while back, a Big Jane. And you wouldn't think that one's wellness and one's bodybuilding. You would think both for bodybuilding. Her conditioning. She's supposed to be wellness, which is supposed to be more petite than look, but because of the influence of the sport of bodybuilding, it has changed the divisions over time. So you're going to end up having that. Let's let fit model stay in NPC and let it be like a startup division. And then once you get there, then cut off ties. But again, it's about getting attention and getting money and yada, 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 yada.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's all about the money. It's all about the dollar bill. Usually is how it happens. But you have a few promoters, Jack, Tim Gardner, who promote the women's bodybuilding as well as the masters division. So shout out to them because they always run a good show. I've only experienced positive things from those promoters.
Yeah, and also we can't forget there's Gary Udit. He has
Gary Udit, yes.
Yeah, he does. He still promotes women's bodybuilding at his shows, like the Team Collegiate, also the North Americans, and also the Women's Masters World Championship, which you competed in last year.
Yeah, that was my first Gary Udit show, actually.
Yeah,
as a pro. So yeah, it was a very good show.
Yeah, and also one person I always want to give him a shout out because he's the guy who saved women's bodybuilding, who came in, stepped in. I always gotta get a shout out. I can't help it. He's right there in your neck of woods in Arizona. My man Jake Wood.
Yes.
Yo, Jake.
Yes,
I want that money. I want that gun. Shout out to Jake Wood. He's still giving it a fighting chance where other promoters are pushing out. He runs Olympia. And as you talked about earlier, how some ladies who are getting to the level she evolved, like one person she was at a show together with is back in 2020 is my girlfriend, Andrea Shaw.
Yeah, I had to dig deep to find your girlfriend.
Yeah, I know I sound kind of weird saying that. I never met her, but she's been one of these ladies that really she gave new life to the sport. And interviews I've done with ladies who have met her and know her, she's just a genuine person. This is a true story. I'm always gonna pull this out. My friend Eunice, I think you probably met Eunice a few times. She runs the company Bad Rap. The moniker are big and defined, ripped and pumped. We like the rip part. And she was at the Olympic back in 2023. And that's when we were still in Florida. And it was like a little bit after my birthday. She told me, "You're getting something in the mail." I said, "What is it?" It's this. It's an issue of Muscle Development with Andrea on the cover. And it's not just this magazine, Muscle Development. I have quite a few of them that's in with some Muscle Development, Flex magazine, stuff like that. I got a collection with my comics. But what makes it so special and what fuels my fire as content maker, because y'all ladies, some of y'all can be, but then with someone like the champion, when she tells me, just poor broke Smo with two bad knees and a pacemaker, that she loves and supports what I'm doing.
Look at that. Okay.
I bring this out because this is, to me, this is my reward. This is, as my other guy would say, if you're getting something, Suzanne, never do for free. And that is why my payment is, it's called, for my good work. And my friend got the autograph for me. That's my friend Eunice. Got to finally meet her and hang out with her. I was at Tampa at the Bad Rap booth. I always want to give a shout out to Eunice. We were there, and what made it so special was we got to meet this gentleman in the middle, Mr. David Lee Roth. That was something.
Oh wow.
I
Okay.
would have never met that man in person if I wasn't there that day. But it was great.
Mm-hmm.
We have your comment. Shout out, to my man, KL the Wanderer. He's been sticking with me. We appreciate that about him. He says this. He says, his question says, you ever had a thought competing in strongman, but I might be a lot for you?
Yes. However, I talked to my trainer who said, no, don't do it. First of all, I'm short. These strongman competitions are kind of made for taller, larger people, in my opinion. Even one of the competitions, I think you put something on your shoulders and you have to walk around. I can't even do that. I'm too short. I can't even do that. So it's just not made. Plus, I have small joints. It's just not made for small people. But yeah, I have thought about it. It's not a good fit for me. So no, I will not be doing that.
Yeah, strongman, it's very tough. We used to show the strongman competition on television, or you have strongman competitions. So like those women were strong. I think everybody finds a sport that really they work with it, they're comfortable with. Powerlifting is comfortable for you. I know ladies who do other sports outside of bodybuilding, they could prefer that and they are comfortable with that. We have here, this is from No Dose. Shout out to him. He's been through here before. He says, hi, George. Hi, brother. Also, just from KL the Wanderer, he says this. Give him a second. He says, I like that picture of you wearing that Namaste shirt.
Namaste.
Namaste shirt. Oh, yeah. Says, flexing. I'm a bit rock. All right. Yeah. Hey, KL, there's also an old smoke saying, when you ladies rock hard, we'll rock hard. Because it's just something when we see women like yourself, especially here's one thing you gotta understand. Competition day, when you are shredded, you're glistening with baby oil, you're shining from the tan. That is your weakness because you're tired, you're dehydrated, you're hangry, your body is going through mile a minute. Because like you said earlier, sometimes your skin's so thin because you can sit in a tub. Lady told me she sit in a tub, she can feel like pin needles. Even though that is your best look, it can be that most stressful of your body.
Mm-hmm. It's a challenge. It's a mental challenge. It's a mental F, to be honest. But yeah, you have to even though your skin is thin, so you can see the muscularity and whatnot, you have to still have a thick skin because at the end of the day, they're judging you subjectively. So you have to remember that it's not you, it's what do the judges want. And so you can't take it personal. You just put in your 100% for 12 weeks or for 16 weeks or however long your prep is, and just give it your all. At the end of the day, you just give it your all. And it's just up to what do the judges like on a subjective level. So you could bring your best package and come in last. You could bring your best package and come in first. You just never know. You just give it your all and just take the lessons and improve for the next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a process with bodybuilding, understanding the factors, what you want to bring, especially certain divisions. If you are doing wellness, they want your nice tie-ins with your glutes. If you're doing bikini, they want you nice and smooth. With the girls over in figure, wider back. They have that upside down Dorito. I've heard from quite a few figure competitors. With physique, very lean, good conditioning, but now the physique girls are getting big. And with women's bodybuilding, those full round muscle bellies. Like you look at someone like Andrea, or you look at someone like who else also got to beat when I was in Tampa, Ashley Jones. Those are different levels.
Yes. She's so cool. So, okay, can I just go back to one thing? So that picture you had of me and your girlfriend, Andrea, I forget the lady's name who was in the middle, but I was like, I photobombed. I'm like, can I just jump in here for a minute? I'm like, I know I'm not a bodybuilder. She's like, come on, Suzanne, jump in. I'm like, she knows my name. So
I
she
think
is so nice because
I
that
think
was
that
not planned. I'm like, can I just jump in here with you big ladies? I'm like,
I
yeah,
think the lady in the middle. I think it's Amy Hawk, if I'm not
yes, yes,
certain.
yes, 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 yes. Amy.
Yeah, because I think she last I saw her compete when she was at Tampa back in no Savannah back in 2022. I remember I
Yes,
got to see Andrea there. She was doing guest posing,
yes.
and I got a friend. His name is Keith, and she was just maybe a few weeks from the Rising Phoenix, and he told me, he said, George, when Andrea's on, she's on. She's in. She was just a
Boom,
few weeks.
boom.
She was. I think that day, Mona Persley was looked like she could have jumped in that show right that day, and Andrea was a little bit softer. But
Mhm.
that's when she was with her coach John Simmons, and now she's with the producer. We have here a comment from my man here. Give a shout out to my man. Dosey says, "Hi, Susan. Suzanne." It's also he says, "What's Suzanne the most favorite body part to work out, and what's the most weaker body part that she needs to improve?"
Okay, so my favorite, it's all the same. I train hard all the time. From what the judges said at my last, um, what I need to improve in would be my glute hamstring tie-in. So that's what I've been working on my off season. But other than that, it's like a favorite child. You don't have I don't have a favorite body part. I have to love them all equally. So, because like you said, bodybuilding is like a sport of symmetry. So I can't love one body part more than the other. I have to incorporate them the same and just focus in on what my weaker points are, which is what I've been doing, and just keep it going, keep it growing, actually. So
Work on your strengths as much as your weaknesses, But then also
absolutely.
some women they have some body parts that just boom, all I gotta do is touch a weight and boom, everything. Then there's that one that they have to really work on, like especially if you're not very low half dominant. I know with the wellness girls they gotta do 50 leg workouts a day, because they want a great look at it. With figure and they want to do more back and shoulder stuff because they want a
Hmm.
good look to it. With women's bodybuilding, women's physique, I think it has to be very encompassing. You have to work
Hmm.
on everything, not exclusively one thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things I was working on my off season was building out my. I'm not an anatomy person, but
Triceps, or was your
no, the delts, the
delts?
front delts is what I
Right.
was trying to build in my off season. So I've been doing different types of delt movements to try to build that up.
Well, I remember watching this thing, and there was a video with the late muscle mountain dog John Meadows, where I think some kind of thing he does with a rubber band and with a wall, and I think it works with something with your delts. I know I shared with somebody. Somebody say they like it, they use it. There's so many different workouts, exercises to
Hmm.
work precisely on those body parts. Like
Right.
you said, you love everything, but which the
Right.
one you do not love if you're in the gym? We have to do.
Oh, there's this thing. I call it the purple chair of death. Um, it's a leg. It's a leg press, but it's in a most uncomfortable position ever, and it's just like the purple chair of death. But you got to do it. Build those quads. Oh, but yeah, when my trainer's like, "Let's do this," I'm like, okay.
See, mine would say leg day is the toughest day of the week for you.
Leg day is rough.
It's
Leg
like
day is rough.
it goes back to I know Kia hates it when I quote this from his movie. It's like the episode of the Chappelle Show when Charlie Murphy and Eddie meet Rick James, and Rick comes to their house and is the F your couch, Eddie Murphy, F your couch, and
Love that.
they're beating their legs. He's beating his legs like that's like it. You have Charlie Eddie Murphy beating your legs. That's leg day for a bodybuilder. You crawling out of the like you never get y'all niggas money, but that's the thing. It's important to work on that to
Yeah.
build those things. So instead, it's like you said, the last show was the World Championship. You got the feedback from the coach. This is something I always ask ladies, especially after that long prep. Your food is calling your name. You're getting hungry, and tell me, Suzanne, what was that thing that you desired the most? The thing that you wanted, the thing that was calling. The thing is, as my other guy would say, make you stranger, but make you stronger.
Oh my goodness. It's always one of those things when you can have it, you don't want it. So what I usually do after my show is I treat myself to some frozen yogurt. I mean, otherwise, I can have. Okay, so in my off season, I love some key lime pie, some anything citrusy like lemon meringue pie. But I can have it during my off season. But after a show, I just really don't want anything because I'm just so used to it being off limits. And now that I can have it, I don't want it. I'm just one of those. So, I think after the show I had in Pittsburgh, I had like a half of a primati sandwich burger because that's what Pittsburgh is famous for is their Primati Brothers sandwich. So I had a half a sandwich, and that was it. I was good. But yeah, I don't really go. I think during some of the shows during the halftime when you're going from prejudging to judging, I see some of the competitors eating like a hamburger, pizza. I just can't do it. My system is just not prepared for that. So I just save it all for my off season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know some ladies they debate. They don't do a lot of gorging, but then others typically do because especially we just had Easter just wrapped up. That's a big holiday, especially around here. And enjoying the food. Food is a weapon, a tool for bodybuilding.
Yes.
And, I've talked to ladies where they say sometimes they go to events. They have to bring their own food because even though maybe they take the whole year off just to do a little bulk season or just take a break from competition, they still follow a diet, stay consistent to the diet, stay persistent to their plan because they don't want to derail it. Here's about bodybuilding. Everything involved with from everything from recovery to rest to sleep to massage to training to cooking. You're cooking every day because you want to have that right food that helps your process. Like again, people got to remember that. We go back to the issue of steroids again. That's not the be all part of bodybuilding. It's the diet and also the training.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sunday is like my prep day. So I cook and prepare all of my meals for the week, put in the freezer. So, when I get ready to go to work, just go in the freezer, get my meals and whatnot. So yeah, but remember how I started 70 pounds fluffier. So for me, it's a lifestyle change and I just can't get too crazy for any old reason. So I just have to stick with the program. It's rough at times because like today I want a Cheesecake Factory key lime pie. That's what I want. And my freezer right now, I go to the grocery store, I buy whatever I want and just put it in the freezer. So mentally, I know it's there. I just can't have it. First of all, it's frozen. But that takes away my craving. That takes away my desire because I got it. It's here. It's frozen. It'll be there whenever I'm ready. So that helps me because it's hard.
Yeah, because that thing is about food is just one thing about it, especially it's just there be days we be acting like Chris Rock in New Jack City. If be calling me man, be calling my name, man. I just because
I've been there, done that, so I'm not going there again.
Yeah, because you don't want to derail your opportunity, even though hey, you may not ever go to the Olympia, but still you want that opportunity to go. You want to be in your best shape because you're competing with the top level competitors. Or as this next year is going to be the Masters. Oh, you were at the World in Romania. What was that experience like there? I mean,
my goodness! First of all, it was an amazing show. Wings of Strength, Jake Woods. He's going to run a good show. Elena Popa, that was her show. It was top notch. It was from the beginning to the end, it was top notch. Plus, it was in Romania, and I love to travel, so it was a traveling competition. So I rewarded myself with going to 4 different countries after the show. But yeah, and Susan Graham was there. So yeah, I mean the competitors, they brought their A++ game, and it was a great experience. It was a great show. Yeah, it was one of my top experiences of life. So yeah, it was wonderful.
Last year I had a little get together with some of the ladies that did the show in Japan. Cheryl Mears, I had Tracy Guile, I had Trish Woods, I had Robin Mays, and also I had who else do I had? I remember, Donald Jones, and they talked about their experience at that show. I remember, Sherry, she has that issue with her because she
Yes.
had that thing, and she was there with her daughter. She said they went to this place where they're eating ice cream, and she said it was really good because it's very clean. And she ate another thing of ice cream. She enjoyed it. I think one thing with Donald was her and her friend Alicia. Shout out to Alicia. She's going through some stuff right now. I hope she's doing better. They were there. It was held up one point because there was I think it was a tsunami coming through the area, but it was just a different experience they had in Japan. That promoter is no longer allowed to do shows anymore because if you heard, they didn't pay the winners, and Jake had to step in and pay him, so he's banned from doing show. Because you went to Japan, you talked about the announcers at the sumo event, but now that promoter cannot do shows because he didn't pay the winners. That's messed up. And that's the thing about bodybuilding is that it's a sport where it's a sport of mostly you're putting more in and getting out, unless you're the lucky few. Who can make a living off of like Andrea or the Samson or Andrew Jack just won pretty much $1 million from doing both those two Arnold shows last month. That's expensive, especially for y'all women. The guys, I put it like this out there. The guys got wear a pair of banana hammocks and boy shorts, and that's it. Put on some tan, fix their hair, whatever. There's not much you need to do. But for y'all ladies, they do have their expenses during the off season prep for the shows. But for show day for y'all ladies, that's the biggest expense because not just counting the travel to the shows, bookings, paying your fees, food, registration, because you're doing masters, you have to pay to play. And then, you have to go in hair, your makeup, your suits right there. As I said earlier, your suits could be a car note or a rent. I mean, it's good you have a good job where you can travel and you can, you don't have no kids to worry about, no man to worry about. You just got you. But that is one thing about the sport, that the cost of it.
Yeah. That's one of the sad things about this sport / hobby. But if you're passionate about it, you'll find a way to make it happen. So there are ways you can kind of trim down the cost. Like I think this go around, I might teach myself how to put on stage makeup. And do my own hair. I might do that. I don't know if I'll have the energy or the time to do that, but there's just ways you can try to minimize the cost. Wearing your suit from last season, maybe. Renting a suit, maybe. There are other ways you can try to, or do shows that are closer to you. Like, I know there are 2 Arizona shows, but I like to travel, so I budget it in, and that's how I make it happen. The costs do add up. I try not to look at the total bill, but top it up to it's an experience and it's worth it. You're worth it. This is my reward for putting in all the hard work, all the trainings, get up in the morning to do my cardio and, making myself do the, what do you call it? When you have to come home from do your training, I'll do the red light and the compression recovery. So this is my reward to myself. So for me, I just make it happen.
Yeah, the thing is, you do have the Arizona Pro. Anytime I have an interview with ladies on the show, say, like, if they're not women's bodybuilding, say, I'm doing Rise of Phoenix. No, my dear, you're doing the Arizona Pro. Rise of Phoenix women's bodybuilding. Let's get that right. So, because I'm a stickler. I'm a fan of women's bodybuilding. It was the reason what got me to this because I'm a fan of those ladies. But also, I've been gaining fanship of women like you and Physique, women in figure, bikini wellness. I'm aware of them, but no, not as a big fan. And fit model, my stance on that.
I know. I was waiting for that.
I have to. Like I say, one thing I do is this: I will choose my words wisely. I will try to hold myself back, but I will not water myself down just to make somebody feel comfortable. I gotta be me. Shout out to my man here, Dulcie says this. He says, what's the most women and men bodybuilder enemy? Is it steroids, sugar level, their own exceptions? I mean, what is that? Everybody has, what for you is you feel like?
For me, I would have to say body dysmorphia. And I think this is for a lot of the female competitors out there. So, I mean, even 3 days out from a show, I'm like, man, coach, I think I'm too fluffy. He's like, no, you're fine. But because we see ourselves differently than other people do. And then that's one of the reasons why I don't like to cheat after a show, because I know I will, and that'll cause other problems. So I would say body dysmorphia could be a huge problem. At least it is. It could be for me. I try not to look at myself in the mirror. I just judge myself on how my clothes are feeling, so I don't have to have that mental pressure on me. And then the cost of food. Oh, good Lord. Let's not talk about I think you sent me a Instagram about the cost of food, the cost of going and getting your chicken breasts and your, it's just expensive. Eating right and living right is expensive.
I remember when the pandemic hit, and this was like just a little bit after my mom passed because she had got the virus, and we were getting assistance through food stamps. And that's when I started to eat a little more because I could afford it. You know, it is expensive to try to eat healthier because you know what? I grew up country poor. My mom had to strike a dollar because she had to raise kids. And you know, and you got to find bargains. You know, this is going to be sell for like $3 in a pack. Wow, this is, even though it's cleaner, it's going to be like $10 a pound. You know, and you know, prices have changed. It used to be back in the day, you used to go shop at Costco, Walmart with $50 and fill up a cart. You can barely fill up the little baby seat anymore with anything now. With how much you spend with $50. And again, yeah, there is those costs you gotta find, the things to save you money. You know, like I see something like, if some ladies I follow, I say I see something like there's a deal out there for a suit, or if there's some kind of thing that can really save money, or like even sponsorship. Like this right now is this company looking for sponsorship, and you know there's some things going on right now. Like my friend Eunice, she's helping out with a competitor. There's if you heard a situation with a competitor, her name is Kelly Larkin. She just turned pro last year. She's going to do a documentary with some female bodybuilders. She just kissed her last lady, a young lady by the name of Casey McJunkin. I just interviewed her a while back. Also, you know, Hella and what Irene and Gina are doing, sponsoring athletes. There's got to be finding ways to save costs because again, this is not a lucrative sport. If you look at the other sports like, you know, football, basketball, baseball, we just had a group of some fights just finished off this past weekend. You know, you can make a living with that. But again, bodybuilding is a hobby. And like my man, shout out to my man, Dahl says, favorite hobby? I would say bodybuilding. It's a hobby.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an expensive hobby, but man, do I love it. Man, does it challenge me. And that's why I do it, for the love of the sport, the camaraderie, just taking me outside of the box, you know. It's just a challenge that, hey, at the beginning of the year, I'm like, what am I going to do this year? And for me, that's motivation. That motivates me to try to push myself a little bit better. And kind of sort of on the back end is kind of challenging and motivating to inspire others to try to get into the sport as well. And inspire and motivate people to get into the gym. And I'm not a young bunny. I'll admit it. I mean, I've been to the Masters. If anybody follows me on powerlifting, they know my age. I am no youngin. I admit it, and I'm okay with that. Age ain't nothing but a number. I'm going to give it my best shot, regardless of my age. And to me, that inspires other people, either younger or older, that just you can push yourself. Just keep going. And people stop me at the grocery store all the time and say, "Hey, I follow you, and you help me to eat better, to not get this other extra piece of cake." Because I've seen your before and after pictures. It's possible. You can do it. You just have to want it. Just push yourself. It's possible.
Yeah, especially because you know what, when I was after my mom passed, and I went to doctor's appointment, and my doctor said, "Mr. McCarthy, you are at 500 pounds. Just about. I was just maybe a few pounds shy of 500." And then, like I said again, because the stress of taking care of my mom and responsibilities, and food is seen as a comfort, and that's the thing, is the mental aspects of being adult, dealing with another adult, like your parents being sick, and you find something that helps you with that. You know, and that's what reach out to ladies like yourself who have been through what I'm going through right now, fighting obesity and vital. And then go back to the issue of the body dysmorphia. You know, you can't always stay shredded, ripped year round. It's unhealthy because you know you're denying your body of fluids and of this and that, and even though you don't need certain foods, it's good to have a nice taste of it. And also the post-show blues. Like that's how my man Jeremy, Art of Female Muscle, he talks about this on his channel, where after the show is over, what's there left? You know, like right now for next month, women's bodybuilding is gonna have a long break. There's not going to be any shows for that until Toronto. That's in June. With shows getting pushed out. I think women's physique. The first show they had for the season was the Puerto Rico Pro, but that was Masters. So much is open, but they do have quite a few shows, good opportunities. I think you have 3 at least. They have New York, they have Pittsburgh, and also you have also this month they also got the Emerald Cup, which is also because I think it's this next weekend, and it's a Masters show. I talked to somebody who's gonna be doing that show, and you can talk to a gentleman who's gonna be doing live with me next week. Him and his sister, they're both IFBB pros. That's the thing about the human mind. We find something in something that really guides us, especially if you feel like you don't have anything in your life. And bodybuilding can be that for some competitors. We have here, shout out to my man, Dulce, says this. It says, should give a minute, give me a second. Sometimes my computer got funny. I tapped it, there he is. He says, what's the most best competition position?
Hands down, it would have to be my back pose because I do so much deadlifting, squats. So, I mean, my back is because of powerlifting. My powerlifting built my back. And so the backs of my legs to the tops of the backs of my shoulders. So that, my back double bicep would have to be hands down my top competitive pose.
Yeah. Also, he says this, give a second. He says, is she ever compete for charity? And also he says, we get both at the same time, does she ever work for charity?
Do I ever work for charity? No.
I think, maybe you don't do no charity stuff, like maybe do competitions for charity, something like that, making money. I know. I think he's from another country. Sometimes he's like,
okay. Well, that's never been presented to me. I've never seen a charity bodybuilding event, so I can't even answer that. So
yeah. All right. Also, he says this: how much money women and men bodybuilder must spend before they start competing? It's going to varies.
Yeah, it varies depending on your trainer. Some people have a nutrition coach. Some people have a posing coach. Your food, your supplements. Everybody's different. I don't know. Everybody has different goals. Everybody has different body types.
Yeah. You look at the girls like over in figure. They gonna have a certain look to it, and they may not eat as much as you do. Some girls might eat more. You look at the men. The men always gonna have more because the fact that they gotta bring, like, you look at guys like, I got to meet him when I was at Tampa, Derek Lundford.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was there at the booth and talking with us a little bit. That dude was that short. I mean, I thought he was.
Have you met what is the guy who competed against Phil Heath? He's a blonde guy with the.
You mean Jay Cutler?
Jay Cutler. I met him in person at the Romania show. He's a short guy, but he's huge.
Yeah. This is a story my friend Keith told me years ago about Jay. It was back in the day in his early career. Jay used to do this. And this is one thing about the bodybuilding world there's a fetish to it. He used to sell his old gym clothes to some dude. And and one day he was working out and he washed his clothes, forgot to send him some of his wet gear. So what he did was, and this is what he told me, this is from him. And if this is true story, you can deny, or you can deny me, announce me, whatever you want. If you ever watch this, he sprayed some water on it. He sent it to the guy, and the guy he looked at it and he smelled it, and says, "This is not you." He knew it wasn't his. So he said what he had to do was like always wear extra gear, and then sometimes always remember to kill, because that's the thing is about this sport. Even though it's very extreme sport, it's very, very, there's that underlying fetish to it. As I said again, man, I am a muscle pair small. Y'all ladies excite me. Y'all big muscles. Y'all pumped up. It's just, I think like anything, I talk about this on my channel, almost anything can be sexualized. But again, we had the other side. Like there's guys who make comments like, I saw this thing with this guy talk about this woman. I think the lady who just won the figure title for the Olympia. She posted a video. He shook his top about, this is disgusting. She's a man. Any guy that like that, you're gay. Excuse me. I'm gonna say it like this. I think you're a lovely lady. And if I'm gay, well, change my name from Don Juan to Twan.
Okay. Well, to each their own. Yeah, but yeah, you get a whole bunch of different ones out there. So
Yeah, well, it's just different stories. Like you have the guys on one side saying like she's big and pumped, she's trying to be manly, yada yada yada. And then you have the other guy that says, I like her muscles, like the top. She's wearing the tank top, you can see everything, And I think those guys on the other side, you got to be a little bit be very discretionary about what you feel. And the other guys on the side, if you don't like it, here's some advice: shut the fuck up.
agreed.
Yeah.
There's
If
something
you
for everyone. If you don't like it, turn away. You can turn me off. I'm
yeah.
okay with that.
Yeah, turn the TV off. Don't you like when I'm on my phone. I'm like, I post stuff on my social media, and guys will make comments. I get like I remember an interview with Sean Nelson. You ever heard, Sean? He does photography. He told me that George, he post stuff, and the guys were making comments like they talk to the actual girl. You're not. You're talking to Sean. He's the one who posts that stuff. I post pictures and stuff like you're not talking. That's a little bit weird. Then you have the guys talking about that's disgusting. Why did you come on and make the comment? If you don't like it, don't have to say anything about it.
Yeah, I'm like, go away, troll. Go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man Dose. He says this. He says, my condolences for your mama, George. Like I said, it's going to be 6 years this coming summer. And last Wednesday was her birthday. I actually, it was, Thursday actually. And when I saw a picture I had posted, and it was like from her birthday, last birthday, and I didn't realize, wow, it's been, it was her birthday. I usually post something and say, happy birthday, my mom, but then I just forgot about it because I'm just living my life. And then, I still can't remember her because, like, again, she was my woman. It's like this, a boy's best friend's mother, and your father was your number one man in your life. Woman can raise a woman, become a woman. Your butt heads. A man can raise a boy, become a man. We're butt heads, but when it comes to mothers and fathers, there's a close relationship. And when it comes to sons and mothers, so sons and mothers, that's our first woman. Daughters and fathers, that's your first man in your life. You love them. Also, he said this. Did she ever had a bad experience with promoters, family members, and friends, locals, based on her bodybuilder life? I think you mentioned that earlier. I think you mentioned
No.
that.
Yes and no. Okay. The only I've only had good experiences with the promoters. Every show I've been to, for the most part, there's only been one chaotic show that I've ever been to, and he doesn't even do women's physique anymore. So you probably figure out who that.
I know who it is.
Yeah.
I
So
know.
that was
He don't even he did have a show, but he still does women's physique in one of his shows. I think if you don't have to say his name, but this is I'm assuming it's a man's name is in the Midwest, if that's the one you're thinking about, or somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, he used to do women's physique and women's bodybuilding and women's figure, and took them all out. That was the only one competition that I did, which was chaotic from beginning to end. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad that I was invited to do it. That was the only experience, other than the trolls that come on every now and then. I had a couple of what do you call it, stalkers. Other than that, fortunately for me, I've had a really good experience with this bodybuilding career, actually. So yeah, I am pleasantly surprised. So this is an opportunity that I am grateful for, and I take it very seriously. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good, because you know what, you should enjoy what you do, especially in sport. You should enjoy the opportunities you have, the chance to travel, to meet people, be around people like Susan and Andrea and so many other men and women in the sport. And again, this is about finding a passion. Because I've talked to ladies where we discussed about, hey, it's not enough money, and like that. I said, George, it's not much about the money. It's a passion for us. We love what we do. But again, I wish there was a little more benefits. I wish there was, like, you go to a show. One thing was, sometimes you have athletes get sick. It should be like a medical group there. Like just like if you look at football or basketball, baseball, they have a medical team just in case something happens. They have, like, I know one guy he had a show this weekend, but he doesn't have physique or bodybuilding or wellness a show. That is the promoter of the Vancouver Isle show. And he just said they have like wellness and checks and stuff like that, and things to help out the competitors. It's hard to get to that show because it's in Vancouver. If you know where Vancouver's at, it's tough to get there. I mean, you have to get a ferry, But everybody finds something about this sport that they like and they love. There's always the things they don't like about it, especially with people's comments and their kind of way. They always going to feel like, I think one thing how I feel like this is that they feel like what you're doing is about what gratifies you, what makes you whole as a person. And sometimes some people don't feel as complete in their lives. And they judge your reason for what you're doing this because they don't have the mindset. I mean, I can understand discipline is hard, like, trying to maintain it, especially when it comes to the food part. Like, it's like, I went to my doctor's appointment Tuesday, and afterwards I went to the Chinese spot. They do a buffet. I didn't get a lot. I just got nice because I don't get it too often. It was just something nice to have and go into a little bit. But that's the thing is, it's not so much about motivation, about discipline and holding that discipline.
Yeah, so I don't really share this part of my life story too much, but one of the actual reasons that I did this lifestyle change is, like I said, I gained 70 pounds. I have a small frame. I'm 5'2", so gaining 70, almost 80 pounds, you could really see it. And so at one of my old jobs, we had a health fair, and I was like, okay, let me step on the scale or whatever. So of course I'm 70 pounds overweight, but it said I was 44% body fat. And so that hurt me. I'm like, half of me is unhealthy, is fat. And so the doctor said, soon you have PCOS, which is part of because insulin resistance, and you have to go on high blood pressure medicine. You have to go on pre-diabetic medicine. So that hit me. And I refused. I refused to go on any type of meds. I didn't want to make this a permanent lifestyle. So that day is when I changed. And it took me 2 years, like I said, to get my mindset and to make this a lifestyle change, because I refuse to go on any type of medication to control what goes in my mouth. So that's my inspiration.
Yeah, that's the hard part with me because I am on medication. Because one thing, I have a pacemaker. I had it for 12 years. I got 2 bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin because of arthritis. I'm pre-diabetic because of genetics. But I'm getting a little better at it. But I just have to learn to have control, fight those urges. My doctor prescribed me, Mounjaro, which helps a bit because, it controls it. I don't want to be on medication. I know there's better choices, but then again, the temptation, it can be strong, and it's hard to, it's hard to fight those things especially when out there in the world. Like, again, I'm from the South. We eat a certain way, we do a certain way. Yeah, but I try to be smart. Like, even though today I had like a hot pocket, it was a protein hot pocket. It was pretty good. But then I don't feel like cooking today. I might order something out. Yeah. It's about making those choices and having those healthy choices for yourself, but also be aware of what you do. Shout out to my man, Dawson is sticking in here. He has a comment. He says this. Wait, I need to get myself a new computer. It says, what's Susan's best result in bodybuilding competition?
I would say last year when I did the Pittsburgh Masters World, I came in second in my very first women's bodybuilding show. I'll chalk it up to that. Other than that, I did first place in overalls when I turned pro. That was my first or best transition from NPC amateur to pro. But yeah, last year it was a really hard year because, like I said, I did four shows, 2 divisions in one day, and I placed second, third, and third out of a pretty big lineup. So that was one of my highlights last year.
The thing about bodybuilding, it's a process. It's the journey. It's the training. It's the diet. It's the recovery. It's the rest.
Everything.
And then getting stepped on stage, and you come in, in your best condition, and you really impress the judges. You press well, especially in the new division that you hadn't done before, and and it's good that have any of your friends and family members come to your shows as often, or it's just
I try to keep everything separate. For me, it's easier because it's all about me. I don't have to, like when I did the bodybuilding show and my mom was there, I had to, after the show, or between the shows, I had to run in, deal with my mom, and because my mom is a lot of work, or was a lot of work. So for me, it's just easier to focus only on me and what I have to do on stage. So usually I just try to have it separate. For me, it's easier. Even though I know they're there to support me, it's just easier when I'm there myself and I'm just focusing on myself and what I have to do.
Well, it's good to do it for yourself. Also, I think for them, they do it because they love you, because they want to stand by you. They want to see you succeed in your goals. It's good to
Right.
have those people just clap and cheer for you.
Yeah.
And just to stand, because you know what, it's when you have that support. Like my family knows I do this, and they often ask me and talk to me about it. They're not so much deep into it, but they, Joe, Dad, I found something, especially after taking my mom a long time. They found something that gives me a purpose, because I don't work anymore. I get disability. I'm at the house. I'm working on stuff. I got an interview coming up, a couple of interviews coming up this week, and then also got some stuff I got to do for tomorrow. This gives me something to keep my mind busy and occupied.
It's
I
something
enjoy,
positive.
yeah, I enjoy doing what it's doing. Now, like I say, I'm also planning on going to a bodybuilding show again. Went to Tampa. I went to Tampa with my friend Eunice. I want to go because I want to meet you ladies and to talk to you, to exchange with you, even maybe get to touch you. But, but just to know the experience of what drives someone like you to do this sport, what really gets you up in the morning. Most people wouldn't get up like, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym. I know when I was working, I had to get 4 o'clock. I had to go to work. You gotta, it's just understanding what drives you, what makes you so passionate about sport, where most other people would never be that passionate.
Another good point is because not everybody can or wants to do it. So just to stand out amongst regular folk, not regular folk, but you know what I mean. It's just something that, because not everybody can or is willing or has the capacity to do the extra stuff. That motivates me. I mean, I don't always want to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but not, because I don't want to do it. That makes me want to do it, if that makes any sense. I just like to push myself. I want to know what my limits are. I'm starting to get to know what my physical limits are, but I want to know what my mental limits is. And I haven't found that yet. Kind of, sort of. I'm getting there.
So it's kind of like quote from Rocky Balboa: "It's not about how he can hit, it's how he can take the hits and keep moving forward. How we can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning's done."
So until I get that final hit, I'm gonna keep on keeping on.
Like Rocky, like Mick said to Rocky, he says, "I hear no bell, Rock." You got to keep on going sometimes. I love quoting movies. That's my thing. So, folks, we're not going to hold her much longer. I know she's a busy lady. She got things to do. I really appreciate the opportunity to have her on. Again, shout out to my brother David. And we're gonna have a long talk about missing my girl David, but I gotta calm myself down. This is a question I'm gonna ask you. What would you want for yourself out of bodybuilding as a whole?
What do I want from myself? I mean, I have 2 unfinished goals. I've never been to, I have one last goal. I've done my last goal. I can check off. I did a female bodybuilding show, but I've never done the Open Olympia. That's always, a hope and a wish and a dream, but you never know. So.
Well, just the right show. How about with Women's Physique? There's more shows for opportunity for that. Then the Masters, if you can win the Masters title, if you can win, it's gonna be tough because there's some ladies who are in the age group. There are women like 50 and plus that look amazing.
Absolutely.
Just look crazy. They don't want to do open because they feel like they don't want to compete and pay, but it's the gateway to Olympia if you want to try it. I think everybody finds something about this sport that really satisfies their drive, and then it's like this. After a while, like when interview with Hella Trevino, she went through a lot. She decided to step away from sport. I'm a fan of Hella. She's an amazing lady, and there's life beyond it. You don't have to. Some competitors miss it. Some eventually come back because they miss that training, they miss that camaraderie, they miss everything about bodybuilding. Others walk away because I've known ladies who got their pro cards and hadn't even competed as a pro. I mean, because you see so much potential. I just interviewed again. Mentioned Lisa. She's gonna be doing the Steve Carr show in a few months. She has potential, and she has 7 kids and doing this and going 2 jobs. Hey, she's like the second lady with that many kids. I think I had a lady with 5, and to find their passion to drive. We have here again. My man says he always likes obstacle carry. Says how many push-ups she can make maximum.
I haven't tried that lately, but usually I do like 20 reps, 3 sets. That's just regular, but I haven't maxed out in quite some time. Pull-ups I can almost do 20. I think I'm at 18. I'll make it up to 20 someday. But yeah, I don't know yet. But one of the other things that I have to say that inspires me, like I said, I'm no young bunny, but at my age to put on a suit like that, that's my inspiration. That's my inspiration. Keep pushing.
Well, ma'am, I'm like this, ma'am. I'm a Southern gentleman. I never isolate her age. I respect that. And also, ma'am, you're like a good wine. You just get better with time. So, is one thing I would say. What's one thing I would say? Like sponsorship does help. And if you're someone interested in sponsoring an athlete, if you have a plan, if you have a company, it don't have to be money. It could be something like suits, travel, little stuff. If you're in her area, if you run a gas station, hey, with gas going, whoa, thank God I'm glad I don't have a car anymore. With the cost of food, if you can help her, maybe give her a discount and we see her in the line. Those things, and maybe cover the cost of a next trip to a show, hotel fees, or also a suit sponsor. Reach out. If you want to do money, that's good. But guys, this is what you're not supposed to do. You say, hey, Suzanne, I've seen your cute little tuttle thing. I got some ideas. No, you sick freak. Stop it.
Keep it clean, sir.
Keep it clean. This is what you're supposed to do to a lady saying, Miss Davis, we find your story very interesting. Being an accountant, going through losing weight, doing powerlifting, that's very inspiring. So if you feel like our product is something that works with your process as a bodybuilder and as a powerlifter, and if something might be interesting working with us, we'd like to have you on as a sponsored ambassador athlete. But if you're not sure about this, that's cool. Let us know whatever you're ready or feel comfortable with. So if you feel like this is a good deal for you, ma'am, it'd be a good deal for us. So let us know.
Yeah, chivalry and kindness gets you a long way.
Like I said, I say like this: you get more with a silk glove than an iron fist. I know what you guys do with that iron fist. So folks, we're not going to hold much too longer. I'd like to thank Suzanne for her time. I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you.
Again, I always say this for my favorite movie, Batman Begins, at the end of it, when Gary Oldman is Lieutenant Gordon says to Batman, I never got a chance to thank you. And Batman turned around and said to him, you never have to. That's why I do this. This is to give you ladies. I would love someday to have Andre on here. But you know what? Talking to ladies like yourself, it is, when I got a chance to talk to Hella and Irene, because I already did a couple of interviews with Gina, but Hella, Irene, it was, for me, it was like, I felt like a little girl in springtime. I was so happy. Talk to the ladies, the legends, and talk to someone like yourself who's been in the game quite some time. You may not be a superstar, but you're a star to me.
Whoop, whoop, I'll take it.
All righty. So, folks, I'd like to thank my guests coming through, my man Dose coming through. Also shout out to my man KL the Wanderer. You want to check out his content? We're going to do something later tonight. Me and him, we'll do a little live together, talk about some stuff. If you're interested in supporting Suzanne in her upcoming competitions, be a powerlifter, be a bodybuilder, it could be both of them. Reach out in genuine interest, in genuine support. Show really, that you are a fan of these ladies and men of sport of bodybuilding. Don't be a weird guy. No weird stuff. If you don't like something, don't say nothing. Mind your business. Go on.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, this is an interesting sport. So thank you for your time and your energy and your support. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, welcome. I appreciate you. Anyway, shout out to my guests that were here. Anybody who watched this live stream, follow, check, comment, subscribe, support Susan in her next upcoming competitions, support my content, reach out, and have genuine interest and genuine support. Anyway, this is man always Joe's page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, like. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out. Good night. Good luck, God bless, and see you next time. And